In my closing segment in my last video, we are talking about what the world is experiencing right now. Life can be fragile, life can be unpredictable, and everyone is facing the same problem that causes so much inconvenience to the world. It's the COVID-19. Welcome to Lepak with Anne. Let's hear what our guests have to say. Or there are beans to spill. Strap on the seatbelt and let's go for a ride with me. We can learn from our guest's story. So, subscribe to my channel as we can experience life journeys together. In this episode, Lepak with Ant, my guest will be sharing the stories that he had. How he has coped with the current situation and how he has moved on. Guest for today's episode, he is a professional in his domain. He has plied his trade in various countries. In 2013, 2014 and 2015, he was in Japan. He came to Singapore in 2016 and all the way to 2018. And he went on, 2018, he went on to Thailand. And he's back in Singapore in 2019 until today. So right now, let's us go and meet our guest for the day. I just arrived where he stayed, and this time around the interview will be done in his comfort of his home. Let's see who's the mystery guest is. Hi, Stipe!
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah,
yes,
good,
man.
Come in, please.
For a start, Stipe, would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah. Hi all, my name is Stipe Plazivat and I'm coming from Croatia. I am 32 years old, striker for Lion City Sailors FC.
Alright, the current situation that we are facing right now, the pandemic, right, has affected many people all over the world. Maybe you'd like to share a bit more how you were able to cope with it.
I mean, first of all, it was a surprise for all of us when it came, and after some time we used to it. You learn how to live with it. But the most difficult part, I think, for me and all expats all around the world is that borders are closed.
Yep.
You cannot travel back home to see your parents, families. So, so let's say this winter when we have the break of 1 month, usually we go back home to spend the time with my family for the Christmas time.
Yep.
But this year I just didn't want to risk anything in the sense of if I go back, I didn't know will I be able to come back on time for start the pre-season. So in order to stay 100% professional, I just decided to stay in Singapore all the way. And now already a year and a half, I didn't see I see them on WhatsApp calls and so on, but I didn't hug, I didn't talk in
the personal,
the
personal care,
with my family, with my sister and nephews, niece.
Yes. I mean, I can feel you because, alright, especially with someone who are close to the family, you know, someone. I mean, even with the technology that we have, WhatsApp call or Zoom whatsoever, it's always something that's missing is the human touch.
Of course, it's not the same to talk on the phone, to watch someone on the video and to see in real life. So, lucky my wife is still here with me.
Oh, yeah, that's a blessing, I would say.
So she helped me, and I mean, it was much easier when two of us spend this time together and go through this together. So,
1.5 years right now.
Yes.
So how have you been coping with it in terms of how you actually cope?
I mean, mentally it's been tough, you know, because it's changing every single week, not only month or year.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it's always like finding new motivation, how to go on and how to cope with this new environment and how to adjust yourself to be more ready.
Perhaps we'd like to share some example that this thing happened and what have you actually cope with it?
For example, last year we had this situation when circuit breaker came
Okay.
and the league was stopped at all, and we trained from home, and it was so many uncertainties in sense of we didn't know if the league will continue, if we will be paid for just staying at home, and
Okay.
what will happen next. Then you just need to push yourself and try to think about the things which you can, how to say, on things which you can have some kind of influence, like you can go run, you can go swim, you can
Yep.
go walk in the park, and that's something what you can do. You cannot think about what will happen and how it will happen, and try to spend my time more productively in sense of learning something new, opening my minds for some new ideas and
Okay.
horizon for something else.
Yeah. So more of things that you can do on your own, right, to keep yourself going, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I cannot influence how long this virus will stay and how long this situation will go on, but what I can change is myself.
yep.
Yeah.
How you look into it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's about the current situation. Everyone is having the same
Same problem.
predicament,
Yeah.
right? And it's how you actually adapt to the situation and cope with it and move on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, is there any motivation factor for you that keep you going?
I mean, motivation factor, you always need. That's my opinion, that for every single day you need to have some other motivation, because if you are driven only by one motive, it will be boring after some time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So every single day you need to find something else which will
So-
drive you through the day. So, for example, lastly, I mean, my wife is now pregnant, and we are expecting the baby in this October. So that is something which keeps me going
Alright.
in every single way.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And that's what helps me to put my mind away from virus situation and
Yeah.
what will happen in the future, because still we have so many uncertainties, but for
Alright.
certain she will give birth in October, and that is our
okay.
first baby.
Baby, yes, yes.
So
Well,
that's what
I'm
makes me happy.
happy for you, you know,
thank
because
you very
finally
much.
you have your the Stippy Junior. All right. Coming back to your family, right? See that you have not been back for at least 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Besides able to interact with them through the devices and the technologies,
Yeah.
but back home, how's your family doing as a whole?
Okay, right now its situation is much more stable with cases in Croatia, and all of my family are already vaccinated.
Oh, okay.
So I'm more calmer now, but before, to be honest, I was a bit scared, especially for my father, whose health is not very
Okay.
good, and he was in this kind of risk group of, if he contract the COVID, it would be like 50-50 if he survive or
Alright,
no.
okay.
So I was wondering. I mean, I try to not to think about the worst case scenario, but sometimes you need to be realistic and say maybe it will happen.
Yeah.
So it wasn't easy, honestly. It wasn't easy, and finally now I'm more calmer.
So you are able to, I mean, of course, in such a situation where you are close to the family, right? When such thing happens and you are unable to make a trip back, right? A lot of what ifs starts to play in your mind, and that is where you start to, making up own stories, which it may not be true.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So instead of
Scenarios.
scenarios A, B, C, whatsoever, but it's good that you have that kind of skills in terms of able to
Cut the line. Yeah.
Yes, so life goes on for me, and we just do whatever we can, to support our family.
And
to,
my mother was frontline worker. I mean, she's still nurse.
All right.
So she was very
Oh, yes,
close to
yes,
the
yes,
virus,
yes,
and every
yeah.
single day she was going back
To the hospital. I mean,
to the
back home,
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes,
she
yes,
see
yes.
my father every single
Yeah, right.
day.
Okay.
It's-
Yeah, I mean that adds more complication
Yeah.
to the matters because being a frontline worker as a nurse, right?
Yeah.
And things can be quite vulnerable as well. Meantime, now as a professional player, right? You train 2 times or once a day, right? I think.
Usually now
Yeah.
during season we
Season.
train once a day,
Once a
but
day,
always
okay.
you need to have this one more session by yourself.
Okay. So.
Usually I spend it here at the pool now when we
Okay.
cannot go to the gyms.
All right. Yes.
So
yes,
I
yes.
use this pool here for swimming or doing some exercise inside.
Yeah, good. I mean, that is one of the part that for you is about the discipline.
Discipline, nothing
Yes,
else,
discipline,
and to
yeah.
fill your time with something
Yeah.
which is I call productive time.
Yeah.
Reading, exercising, and now recently I start one so-called. I'm co-owner of one company
Oh.
which is importing and distribution business
Okay.
here in Singapore, and
Alright.
I have more obligations with that.
Yeah.
Marketing wise and
Wow.
trying to attract new consumers, and my business partner is doing everything else.
Okay. Okay.
I had this idea for few years already, but
Okay.
I didn't have time, I didn't have opportunities, and I didn't have knowledge how to go through it. So I use this time during circuit breaker to educate myself about these things.
Okay.
And I asked my friend if he's ready to be my partner in that.
Okay.
He agreed, and now we start to import only one product from
Oh.
Croatia, but in future we plan to bring
Okay.
in more. Thing outside of the football for me in professional world, and also it's very rarely that someone is bringing something from Croatia which is very new for Singaporeans, so
Yes,
it's quite
yes,
challenging
yes,
to
yes.
introduce this
Okay.
new thing.
Is there any way that we can see the product and perhaps the viewers would love to see and yeah.
Yeah, I bring one here.
Okay.
You can see,
All right.
yeah. So we are talking about white hazelnut spread, which is basically white Nutella.
White Nutella.
Something like that,
Okay,
exactly.
okay.
Nutella is hazelnut spread with cocoa,
Okay.
and this is hazelnut spread with milk.
Ah.
But also this one is gluten free and it's
Okay.
halal certificated.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
so we try to introduce this to the market because there is no such things in Singapore
All right.
right
Okay.
now. And for now, last maybe 7-8 days we started, and reviews are very good. So
Yeah. Okay. Good.
hopefully
good.
it goes well.
But how people can reach out to your product? Yeah.
You just need to type Lino Lada on Shopee.
It's on Shopee.
Yeah, it's on Shopee.
Okay.
Guys.
Bread, all right.
Bread spread, yeah.
Okay.
You can bread, pancakes,
Yeah,
or even to eat with a spoon if you like to
Okay.
get fat.
Okay. So coming back to the conversation, all right? Everyone is facing through a hard time, all right? I mean,
Yeah.
when the circuit breaker
Yeah.
actually kicks in, all right? You guys are not allowed to train together as a team. You guys have to do your own through Zoom.
Yeah.
Everybody has to adapt to the new technology.
Yeah.
And how you actually cope with all these new changes, new measures that have been introduced.
At first it was a bit boring and hard because it was something new. But by time I just find my own routine
Okay.
per the day, and I learned how to spend time, and that's how I cope with it through this 2.5 months.
I think it's longer than that, right?
2.5 months, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. I had very specific routine. I know exactly what time I go sleep, what time
Okay.
I'm waking up, what I'm doing when I wake up. When will be the lunch? After lunch, what's my program?
Alright,
Sometimes
alright.
we trade through the Zoom sessions,
Mhm.
but most of the times I just go to run. That time I was living in Hougang, so I had good park connector here.
Okay.
And after at the night we watch some TV with my wife, some Netflix shows,
Yeah.
and so on. So basically every single day was similar, but it wasn't boring like first few days, because first few days we didn't know what to do and how to do it, and you needed sometimes to adjust on new situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically how you're able to adapt,
Yeah.
right, to the situation. You have to improvise
Yeah,
whatever
honestly,
routines and
for training wise, it was even more tougher when you need to train by yourself. But
yes,
if you
yes.
have the clear goal in your mind, what you want to achieve at the end of this year and in the future of your career, you just need to pursue your passion. You know.
I hear you there, because without a direction, right, sometimes you just lose your motivation and you do not know
Exactly.
what to do, and looking back, all right, the so-called the new journey you embark,
Yeah.
all right, the new business that you have, of course you have a clear mind of
Clear
where
goal. Yeah.
where you want to go, which about objective, and you start to work on the process of getting things done, right? You said
Yeah, I like to have myself occupied, my mind occupied. So
Oh, okay.
so I don't have this so-called screensaver mode.
Screensaver
Yeah.
mode.
So I like
Yeah.
because I'm in the age where I need to be most productive. And
Yes. A prime age, I would
so
say.
I don't want to
Don't-
waste my time.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that you have the kind of mechanism inside you
Yeah.
to drive yourself to
I mean,
achieve
my-
more, right? Besides soccer.
Yeah, but still my body is still very good, and my first job is and my first passion is still football. But outside
Yeah.
of the football, I try to use my free time
To create something.
to create something else.
Yes.
And to be honest, I'm 32 now. This
Yeah.
year, maybe I have 3 or 4 more years of
Mm.
quality playing time, and after that, I need to move somewhere else. So maybe I think now is a good time to start
Right.
something which will be easier, which will make my transition from football career to something else much more easier.
I think thank you so much, Stipe. Hope the viewers love the discussion topic. And just before we leave, or let's hear something from Stipe as a closing statement for
Yeah.
today's episode.
Thank you for stopping by and listening to this short story, and stay safe and take care of yourself, please.
All right. Any words of encouragement besides having those?
Encouragement, just go through the life with the head high, and try to do something with it, and try to spend your time more productively. Don't spend your time in front of TV eating chips and stuff.
Thank you so much, viewers. We'll see you again in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye. In today's episode, our guest has shared his story on how he coped with the situation. Not seeing his family for 1.5 years is tough. Fortunately for him, he has his wife by his side. They have each other to support. But one noticeable story that he told us was he took the opportunity to start his new business. He have learned new skills, and that enabled him to start. That reminds me of a quote from Winston Churchill. An optimist sees an opportunity in every difficulty. A pessimist sees a difficulty in every opportunity. Yes, that's right. It depends on which side of the coin you like to look at. Meantime, stay safe, stay strong, and bye for now.